Of Lesotho is once again fragile. Last week, Chief Justice Nthomeng Majara was suspended, and Amnesty International and Commonwealth judges called it undermining of the judiciary. Now, the government is demanding a retraction, and it says the condemnations were ill-informed and mischievous.
Back in the news, at the recently held SADC summit in Namibia, the mountain kingdom of Lesotho was warned to get its house in order.
There is a sense of impatience. Even the executive secretary of SADC, Mrs. Tax, who hardly ever says anything, speaks out on any issue, was also very firm. The roadmap has not been respected.
Hardly a month after that summit, and the Chief Justice has been suspended. Amnesty International and Commonwealth judges call this a violation of the rule of law and undermining the judiciary.
The High Court of Lesotho issued an interdict preventing the government from suspending the Chief Justice. This comes after other court matters need to be finalized first before they can then suspend her. The government of Lesotho did not listen to that court order. On the 23rd of May, a further court order was issued by the government, issued by the courts, preventing the government from removing any or interfering with any of the work of the other judges. This includes the Chief Justice.
A statement from the government secretary says no court purported, nor could it so purport, to interdict the government from carrying out its constitutional function. The misleading information depicted in the statements and the biased conclusions warrant unconditional retraction. And this false conclusion is understandably due to the fact that these statements were premised on biased and ill-informed basis without verifying facts.
That statement simply promotes anarchy. Even if you are entitled in law to do certain things, once a court of law has granted an order, whether rightly or wrongly, you are obliged to comply with that order unless and until it is set aside. And in this particular case, they were in court when an interdict was granted. And then clearly they ignore the court order and do that which they believe is right according to them. That would be a recipe for anarchy and disaster, and it totally undermines the rule of law.
Amnesty International stands by its statement, but this suspension has highlighted the blurring of lines in the powers of the Prime Minister, the King and the Judicial Service Commission. The Chief Justice was suspended by the King following the advice of the Prime Minister, and according to the Constitution, if the King declines the advice, the Prime Minister has the power to proceed, and that action is considered to be the action of the King.
SADC can't actually be successful parallel to when there are abuses and when there are, when the Constitution is being not being respected.
Divisions within the Prime Minister's party could also heighten tensions.
The accusations within the All Basotho Convention of Thomas Thabane that his young wife is now also getting too involved in politics is almost, if you look at the media in Lesotho and what people are saying on social media and so on. Some of the meetings turned quite violent from what I could see and, from what we could assess from the outside. So there is going to be a party conference at the beginning of next year, from what we understand. So that will be an opportunity for Thomas Thabane to assert his leadership or not, A split in that party will again fragmentize an already very fragile political situation.
The SADC mission in Lesotho will be withdrawn at the end of October, but it is still not clear if the constitutional, security and judicial reforms required for stability will be completed by then. Nthakwana Ngatani, SABC News, Johannesburg.
Okay, let's get more on one of our main stories of the day, the release of the